I want to emphasize this passage because I think it has a lot that can share with us as we go into the new year. Share whatever is true, whatever is pure, excellence. If any excellence, lift up these things. Keep on doing the things you've learned and received as Paul speaks, and that we may learn his covenant love. Let us pray. Lord, let your Spirit be upon us, that we would ever be renewed and strengthened. That we would be honest with ourselves and therefore grow away from that which is destructive and into that which is life-giving. In Jesus' name. Amen. There are a few things I draw from this text. It's so amazing. We talk about we are what we focus on, what we consume, what we put forward. And if we focus on that which is destructive, then our thoughts go that way. And this, quite to the contrary, calls us to that which is life-giving, life-renewing, fulfilling in great love. Things like truth and honor, and that which is just, and that which is pure, not from mixed motives. That is pleasing and commendable. These are good things. Excellence, if anything. Worthy of praise. Do these things. What a wonderful thing to focus on. If we can get there, that's so good. And then he goes on to say, if we do all this kind of stuff, focus on excellence, then we may know the God of peace is with us. Now, our Lord is always with us. But I think if you're like me, it's too easy to get up with all the things going on that God's image and imprint and presence in our lives becomes a little bit obscure. It gets shaded over by all the other things going on. And our mind gets clouded with that. And pretty soon, we're not all that aware of God's presence. And perhaps those stop, breathe, and pray moments where we just take in and say, yeah, there's something greater here. There is something pure. There is something of truth. There is something of life. If we can focus on that, I think these are the ways where we know the peace of Christ. Because if you think about it, if we aim towards grace and fullness and love and truth, we tend to, just by the very direction of our focus, become filled with peace and grace. No matter what happens, and no matter what is happening to us. Because that is a call and gift from God. Now we are on the brink of a new year. We're just a few hours. Part of the world is already a new year. In Asia, they've already gone there. So I want to present to you 3 questions, and I'm hoping that you'll take these home for consideration for today and for tomorrow. What do I want to leave behind? What in my past is best left there that I can leave at this point? Number 2, what do I want to continue? What is life-giving, renewing, a blessing for those around me, and gives me a sense of presence of God and renewing and strength. And he's generally gracious to others as well. One of those things that I wish to continue doing, whether it's an activity like sports, or if it's a meditation, whether it's a thought, whether it's a gesture, whatever it is, a form of giving, however, those things, whatever they may be, what is it that I want to continue doing that is good? And the third question. What new things do I want to start? Do I want to take on as this 2018 begins? Very, very powerful questions. What do I want to leave behind? What do I want to continue? What do I want to take on that's new? Very simple and yet quite profound. And I think it leads us a long ways. I suspect the hardest of those 3 questions is what I want to leave behind. Especially as we get older. It's a little tougher to leave behind. Those things just kind of drag along with us. The little Jacob the Baker I use sometimes, and And, he says, you can go to another town, but these troubles seem to follow right along with you. And they can become a point of obsession. I think those are hardest and can be very difficult. And I found in a newspaper article a story of a woman that makes me think, if this woman can go through all this and not be bitter and not be destructive, maybe I can too. Because if we're not careful, we can focus on that one negative thing. I remember when in the Carolinas, Duke, or one of the universities there, that had the top women's soccer players in the world. And the coach said, he would say, with women, you have to say 9 positive things for one negative thing when you're going to coach people. Because it's all too easy to focus in on that one negative thing. And this woman has gone through a lot more than one negative thing and somehow come out positive. I want to share her with you a little bit. She died just recently, Rosalia Kaplan. She was a Jewish Holocaust survivor. She shares her experience now, until she died, up at the Virginia Holocaust Museum in Richmond. She was in The Hague, in Netherlands, in 1940 when the Nazis invaded. And she would be taken house to house, sometimes between walls, sometimes in attics, and they would move her at one time or another, generally about 2 in the morning, because you couldn't stay in any one place very long. Sometimes she would live under a boat that was just flipped over, I imagine a rowboat. Sometimes she would survive on duck eggs. The rest of her family had been hauled off. She wore a yellow star, because that's what you had to do. They went to Auschwitz. She never did see them again. She was thinking about 8 years old at the time. And so there were people, Christians, that made an effort to hide her. And of course they risked their lives in doing so. And it wasn't just 1 or 2, but a number of different people. And they would shuffle her around and it wasn't up until 1944 that the Nazis caught her and they sent her off to a camp. Somehow she survived that. She was about, I think it was like 60 pounds at 10 years old when she came through that. She dealt with things in the cold. I was thinking, as we were going through the cold, I went out and got the newspaper this morning, and I thought, this is cold. I've gotten windy being down in Virginia, I gotta say that. And I'm thinking, can you imagine, if you're hiding out under a boat, maybe it was summertime there, or maybe not. Maybe you were in a house, maybe not. And she's going for years in hiding because somebody cared enough to hide her. And somehow, she focused. She came from Virginia Beach earlier. She moved here with some other people and was here, and then later on went to Richmond due to marriage and the family that became. She did get a husband. She had kids, and then, like I say, later moved to Richmond. And somehow, she managed not to be bitter. She managed not to focus on the hardships she went through. She managed not to focus on the anxiety every day, just breathing. Could get you killed. She managed to focus on the people that cared for her, that put their lives on the line for her, that were literally, in our phrase today, there for her. How do you do that? That's a pretty serious case to me of leaving the darkness behind. Picking up life, getting married, having kids, and developing a whole new life, living into her 80s here in Virginia. Somehow she left the destructive stuff behind, even in the face of the Nazi regime, much like some totalitarian governments today. and she focused on that which is good. And she not only did that, but she took the story to other people at the museum and shared that story both in Virginia Beach and in Richmond. I think that's pretty good. If she can go and get ahead of or leave behind that which is destructive and move into that which is life-giving, I think we can too. I want to share with you once again our text. Finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is anything, any excellence, anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Keep on doing the things that you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, and the God of peace will be with you. I leave you with 3 questions for today and tomorrow. What do you want to leave behind? What do you want to continue doing? And what would you like to take on?